going to talk about a media organization that actually is incredibly good and incredibly supportive, and I actually think does a really tremendous job of going after the truth, and they do it by maintaining their integrity, and they really are terrific, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But I do want to let people know sort of the reality of what we have to deal with, and you see a lot of these security guys around me and around others and around this area, and we have an entire security apparatus that's actually protecting us right now because we just have crazy people. You know, we really have crazy people, and we're dealing with something here in the last hour, just really, really stupid things, you know what I mean? So here we are, and you see what you sort of what you see is what you get, what we're all about here with the Reawaken America tour. But when people in our government, as Clay was just talking a little bit about, when people in our own government at different levels, you know, they make something about it and they basically lie about it. I mean, this is what it causes. It can cause some really dangerous types of things. So anyway, I just watching the people up here, and the last couple of folks that are up here, and Adam that just came off the stage, and Joey Gilbert who was up here earlier. I mean, you see the type of people, and you know, Adam's from Virginia, Joey Gilbert's from Nevada. I mean, we're not alone in this is what I'm telling you, right? We are not alone in what it is that we are doing. We're not alone, and I want you to know that beautiful young man who was up here, that first responder from Rochester just down the road, I mean, you could see in his emotion and his being just how much he just loves what he does in his job, and he's very, very capable guy, very capable guy. But we have done this with our police, right? We have just taken our police, our law enforcement, all of our first responders, because even firemen. You know, one of the things that I was taught as a kid, one of the things that I taught my children, my own children, is the thing about 911, right? Dial 911. I remember my mother getting us, I'm one of 9 kids, getting us around the phone and teaching us about 911. So if something happened at your house, right? If your brother punched you in the nose and broke your nose or something, you know, you can call 911. And what would happen when you dial 911? The police would show up, and you trusted that they could take action, right? I mean, right now, I will tell you, I've spoken to many police. I've spoken to 911 operators, and they're all like, should I take this risk? Can I take this risk? If I go after this high-speed, if I go into this high-speed chase, what's going to happen to me? Our country has been placed into this position where we are afraid. We really are afraid. And and as he said, you know, the idea of fear is very real. All of us have it, and I've been there. And but I also talk about courage, and courage is a decision. Courage is not something that you are given. Okay, it's not something that you're ordained with or something that you're born with. Courage is a decision that you have to make at the moment. And it's really, really a tough decision. And usually the hero on the battlefield is the least likely person that you would expect. It's the least likely. It's not the person that you think, oh, this is a tough guy. Right? It's always like somebody who's the least likely. And it's because they made a decision to demonstrate extraordinary courage, and they just did it on a whim or on a spur. And that's what we need. But we want people to feel that way. I mean, lawyers. Joey Gilbert as a lawyer. So what do? They go after all the lawyers. So if you fight against this system, if you fight for something like election integrity, what happens is some law firm, some group, and there's a group of lawyers out there, there's these different groups that we're up against, the 69 Project as an example. It's crazy. What they do is they go after their bar, right? If there's any lawyers in here, you're going to lose your bar. You're barred in the state of New York, you're barred in the state of Pennsylvania, Nevada. They go after that, and they do an ethics complaint. They do an ethics complaint against you. And they file an ethics complaint. So what do you have to do? It's like I said yesterday, when they give the whole first row, the whole family, a bunch of subpoenas. Now you can't talk to anybody. You got to go buy a lawyer. You got to go hire somebody. It starts to cost you money. I mean, there's an entire industry against us, against these great lawyers that are fighting. It is hard to find a lawyer. It is hard to find a lawyer right now in this country when we're getting ready to do these lawsuits, and we're doing plenty of them. John Paul McIsaac. Okay, does anybody ring a bell? That name ring a bell? We talked about Hunter Biden's laptop earlier, right? John Paul is the guy that owned the laptop store, right? He's the guy so our organization, the America Project, is actually behind him, helping him file his lawsuit against a whole bunch of people. Because here's the guy that did the exact right thing. He was actually on Hannity last night, did the exact right thing. He turned it over. He saw essentially a crime on his laptop, and he turned it over to the FBI, smart enough to make a copy because he wasn't sure whether to trust them. Why? Because at the time, we had already been going through the Russiagate, and there was this sense that, geez, I don't know if I can trust the FBI. So he did the right thing. And God, if he had just given it to the FBI, and not a copy made. And now there's people out there with all kinds of, we see the sickness, right? We see the sickness. But these lawyers that are trying to fight for us, so we were able to get a really good lawyer, and John Paul's going to win he's going to really, win a big case. And he deserves it because they took his life apart. Okay. And for all the veterans, somebody, said, raise your hands if you're a vet. If you're a vet, stand up. Stand up. Stand up if you're a vet. I love you. Stand up. That's great. All right. And I forget which one said it. Maybe it was yesterday about, thank you, because that flag flies. I keep out of my front yard a little symbol. It says freedom isn't free, and I got a light on it that shines through it, and it shines right up to the flag flying in my yard, right? And I am so goddamn proud of that. And it isn't free. My entire family's existence, going back to my grandfathers who came over from Ireland, is all military. In my family, that's a lot of what we know. It's all we know. Whether Navy, I don't agree with that decision. Or Marine Corps, or Army, or whatever. Or I'll say Air Force. Any Air Force? All right. But this is why we exist as a nation. So, anyway, what I want to do is I want to bring up very quickly the owners of Epoch or Epoch Times. Right? Come on up, Kirk. And these guys deserve a round of applause, believe me. Boy, ain't this a picture right here, right? Ain't this a picture right here? So there's a couple of websites, and I know we website you to death here, but there's one, and it's called Great. Write this down or put it on notes or something, because I know you get websited out today. But greatgather.com. 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 I don't know if you can bring it up. Greatgather.com. And it's really, basically these guys took it from the idea of local action, national impact. But greatgather.com. And then, of course, the Epoch Times. They have Epoch Times TV. We just did a great documentary. It was on last night. It premiered last night. It'll show off and on if you go to their channel. It's a documentary on the Mar-a-Lago raid, okay? And on it were Kash Patel, Devin Nunes, myself, and many others who you would recognize as people that are we're just fighting back. We're just talking about how ridiculous this whole thing is. But anyway, I just want to say that when I look at organizations and media, the Epoch Times, they're a disciplined organization. They maintain their integrity. They're very unbiased when they look at different issues, but they will tell the truth. They tell the truth. And so because of that, I'm going to let Kirk talk here for a couple of minutes. Because of that, it's like I told CBS and ABC when we did an interview over here yesterday. I said to the guys, you know, if you told the truth, your viewership would go through the roof, right? Your business model sucks because you lie, and people know it. People know it. So anyway, what I want to do is I'm going to turn this over to Kirk and just ask him to talk a little bit about Epoch Times and why they do what they do. But they are big supporters of this particular Reawaken America. We appreciate that. They've always been part of it, and they've always been very, very fair in how they've reported on what we do. So God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, General Flynn. Thank you, Clay. Clay's team is really great, and General Flynn's team are great. So yesterday I was driving to here. I found we are in the big tent around the fields. We deserve indoor stadium, but all these people, we together, we are saving America. It's a hope of the, yeah.
Tell them what your background is.
Yeah, it's a hope of all our Americans, a hope of the world. So all of us are getting here. Even it's hard weather, we are fighting together. We are just like a family. So here again, I want to appreciate Clay, sacrifice so many things. Their family, their weekends, General Flynn, so all get together. For what purpose? Only one purpose, give the people the hope. We fight together. So I tell you, I came here for freedom 29 years ago from Beijing, China. Thank you, thank you. For what purpose? For freedom. But many years later, we just found all those bad guys want to bring us back to socialist China. That's really, really bad. So as a Chinese American, I'm a US citizen. I'm proud of this country. I'm so proud of this country. So just briefly let you know how the Epoch Times gets started. So 22 years ago, we together with a lot of PhD doctor, together we created the first Chinese newspaper in the basement of Atlanta, Georgia. So in the past few years, it's the needs of the American people, this freedom. We need to tell American people the infiltration of the Chinese Communist Party in all aspects of this society. And in 2004, we published a book. It's called The 9 Commentaries on the Communist Party. You know what? Since there's a grassroots movement just like here. About 400 million Chinese people awakened, just like Clay's Reawaken Americans. So we have the confidence we can bring all the Americans to reawake and really fight for this fight. Thank you, thank you. And we also published the book. It's called How the Spectre of Communism is Ruling Our World. Look at Canada, Australia, everywhere, Asia. You look at all socialism. So we started to exposing the evil nature of the communism. We are the #1 media to expose their evil nature. We are not afraid of anything. On the contrary, the CCP is afraid of Epoch Times most. Is that right? The bad force in the United States is afraid of our truth reporting. They are afraid of we expose whatever they do. They lie to the people, right? January 6th, we interviewed Patrick, and we have to release this documentary. To just let you know, we are going to have more than 50 documentaries coming up. It's really, really great. Because Epoch Times is non-profit, it's mission-driven. So we just meet the needs of the American people loving this country. So that's the reason our traffic jumped to #1 among among all non-corporate media, because Fox News is corporate media. Besides Fox News, we are number one. So I hope everyone who loves this great country and can share the epochtimes.com, the website, with your 10 family or friends. I really appreciate everyone here. I was touched by everything you're doing. Thank you.
I just want to introduce, this is Gloria A. This is what I talk about when I say first generations Americans. These are beautiful people. God bless them, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.